Happening now, the search for a missing Jamestown man is re-energized as his family continues to seek answers. Plus, the latest on a kidnapping trial in Chautauqua County that's set to get underway next month.
Well, as we enter the new year, we're going to be bringing it in mild with some rain showers, but it all goes back downhill. We'll talk about it in detail next as the news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now. This is WNY News Now with live breaking news.
The search for a Jamestown man who has been missing since just before Thanksgiving continued today. Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. This is the third organized search for 56-year-old Kevin Hornberg, who went missing on Monday, November 22nd. Our Bronson Rasmussen walked alongside his family and friends who set out to find answers today. He joins us live now in the newsroom with the latest. Bronson?
Justin, Kevin Hornberg's family and friends continued their search efforts this morning, just over a month after the man went missing. The search focused on the 800 block of Prendergast Avenue here in Jamestown, an area Hornberg was last seen. New today, searchers were able to make contact with residents who are going to help review security camera footage of his apartment building. In addition to Prendergast Avenue, Hornberg is known to frequent the Tops grocery store on Washington Street and Robo gas station on North Main Street. He has a cross tattoo on his forearm and another tattoo on his pointer finger and thumb. If found, searchers say he could be in a confused state as he was recently recovered from a coma and could be suffering side effects.
He did have a traumatic brain injury and a metal plate put into his head, so we are worried that he could be possibly experiencing some confusion. He may not even know who he is or where he's at or why he left his apartment that night. So we are depending on the community to recognize him, even if he cannot himself at this point.
The family has put together a $1,000 reward for information. Anyone with tips on his whereabouts is asked to contact Jamestown Police at 716-483-7536. Live in the newsroom, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Chautauqua County Court will open the new year with a trial for a man charged in connection with a 2020 kidnapping in the village of Ripley. A Chautauqua County court clerk tells our newsroom that jury selection for Isaiah Fuentes will begin January 10th. Fuentes faces a litany of charges, including 2 counts of first-degree kidnapping, first-degree assault, and second-degree assault. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's deputies say they responded to a well-being check of a subject who was reported to have been injured in an altercation. When deputies arrived, they were unable to make contact with the victim. The Sheriff's Office investigators then contacted and did a search warrant at their residence. Fuentes was also reportedly inside of that residence. He remains in Chautauqua County Jail, where he is awaiting his trial. He's being represented by the Public Defender's Office, while District Attorney Jason Schmidt is prosecuting that case. According to the clerk, jury selection for 6 other trials are scheduled to occur after the Fuentes case. And as the year is coming to an end, Congressman Tom Reed is looking back on 2021 and the legislation he's worked on Capitol Hill. Next year, he's not seeking re-election after 6 terms following sexual misconduct allegations made against him earlier this year. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp reports.
Looking back on 2021,
I think the biggest accomplishment I'm proud of is the infrastructure deal.
Congressman Tom Reed was one of 13 House Republicans who crossed party lines to vote for the $1.2 trillion infrastructure deal. That funding would go towards things like roads, railroads, bridges, and broadband, including millions to the C-Tran public transit system in Elmira.
That bipartisan deal that put $1 trillion plus into America's infrastructure. And I'll tell you, that was a bipartisan compromise bill that is going to make huge dividends of improvements for America going forward.
But earlier this year, a former lobbyist went public with sexual misconduct allegations against Reed from an incident in 2017. In a Twitter statement, Reed apologized to the woman, his family, and his constituents, saying in part, "I hear her voice and will not dismiss her," and added that he plans to dedicate my time and attention to making amends for my past actions. In that statement, he also said he will not seek re-election in 2022. As the new year approaches, he says his top priority remains taking care of his constituents in the southern tier.
We just crossed 21,000 cases that we've impacted, real families, real people, in regards to the assistance we offer them, in regards to being in office, being a voice on their behalf. And so in 2022, that will continue to be the top priority, is to make sure that the folks that we represent have a voice in Washington, D.C.
In Washington, D.C., Rachel Knapp reporting.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul wants as many students as possible to get tested for COVID-19. In the coming weeks, the state of New York aims to provide testing kits to every student. As WNY's Alexandra Dern explains, kits are scheduled to be given out the week of January 3rd.
We have tools at our disposal, and the question is how we're deploying them, and I think people will be very confident. I know people will be very confident in how we've done that. So we're continuing to work on our winter surge plan, making more testing available.
Commissioner Jackie Bray's top priority is to keep kids in school. Supply kits will help parents do just that.
It's our responsibility to supply as many of our districts as we possibly can so that they can supply as many kids as they possibly can with kits.
In total, 6 million test kits will be delivered to 731 school districts across New York State. Kits will be made available to students next week on January 3rd.
We'll be supplying them through 60 different hubs throughout the state. Those will include the BOCES, some direct to school districts, and some county hubs. Planes with these kits begin arriving tomorrow. They will be landing in the state every day this week.
Bray confirmed over 100 trucks will be on the roads to deliver kits to hubs. The delivery of kits will be prioritized on case rate by district.
We'll be prioritizing delivery based on case rate by district so that we make sure that the kits get to the districts that are seeing the highest level of transmission.
Access to testing is also being expanded. Parents can take themselves and their children to testing sites as well.
Pharmacies and urgent cares across the state continue to offer testing, including walk-in testing. Last week, we delivered over 1 million over-the-counter tests to county local health departments outside of New York City.
Here locally, parents in several school districts have received notification of these testing kits. For more info as to where and when they will be available, you can check your respective school for updates. Well, if you've been waiting to play the lottery, maybe this is your sign. There were no winners in the Powerball drawing on Wednesday, which means the jackpot has grown to a whopping $483 million. Wednesday was the final Powerball drawing for the year. The numbers were 2, 6, 9, 33, and 39. That Powerball 11. So 2022 might be your year. The next drawing is this Saturday, New Year's Day, January 1st. Wouldn't that be just a sweet treat to win the Powerball? Ooh, hey, you never know, right? Isn't that what they say? That's their slogan?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty small chances, so I don't know.
Well, either way, we thank you for joining us for WNY News Now as we get a check of some local news and, of course, weather today. Going to be, I think, one of your final casts of 2021, Dakota. So, and it's kind of like the year almost, a little dreary out there.
Yeah, the weather hasn't changed much from the past couple of days, and it's just going to be this way throughout the day. The Olean Skycam overlooking the JCC Olean campus really just kind of shows you the clouds around. And this is basically going to be the story again today. So, you know, we sound like a broken record up here, but this is just the way the weather pattern has been favoring. Cloudy, with a couple showers. That's going to do it for today. And you can see we already have some moisture showing up here, but any of the rain showers today should be very light in nature, and it's mainly going to be at least a sprinkle or a drizzle, if anything, if you do happen to get a little light rain shower out there. 35 high yesterday, started the day at 33, 61 and 17 are the records for this date, and the record low set back in 1917. So through the afternoon today, yeah, this is what you're just going to see. Lots of clouds around. The high temperatures 37 to 42 with a northeast wind 5 to 10, overall light. But as we go into New Year's Day, we're going to ring it in very mild with rain showers, then snow returns. We'll talk about it with that Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day forecast later on in the show, so stay with us.
All right, Dakota, thank you. Well, the minimum wage in upstate New York will increase to $13.20 an hour tomorrow, with a specific increase to $15 an hour for the fast food workers. The increase is part of a minimum wage hike that was passed in 2016, and it's rolling out over 5 years. The wage upstate is increasing to 70 cents from the current rate of $12.50, which was set last year. As for those fast food workers, according to state officials, there will be a $15 an hour wage regardless of your location. Many businesses across the Empire State have called for a halt of wage increases because of the pandemic's economic impact. Leaders, however, have yet to take any action there. The state's Division of Budget says low-wage workers were among the hardest hit last year. Specifically, they say over 50% of losses impacted fields with minimum wage workers like retail, healthcare, and hospitality industries. And starting on Saturday, a statewide ban on plastic foam containers like styrofoam to-go boxes takes effect. The Department of Environmental Conservation posted a reminder about this change on their website. According to the DEC, businesses will no longer be able to use plastic foam disposable containers. Additionally, companies will need to stop distributing plastic foam shipping materials like those packing peanuts. Those materials, officials say, is a major contributor to litter because plastic foam is not accepted at many recycling facilities across the state. The DEC says the regulations also impact hospitals and schools. New York is the first state in the nation to ban plastic foam containers. And coming up, important new info for those who plan to celebrate this New Year's Eve. And later, we are looking back at some of the top stories from across our area in 2021. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
Happy holidays from WNY News Now.
Hi, I'm Al Steffens, owner of Chautauqua Comics. For the last 28 years, we have been your premier retailer of comic books. But we have so much more.
Located at 214 Fairmount Avenue in Jamestown, the shelves are stocked with everything from superhero to classic G.I. Joe and Star Wars. Looking for Pokemon? Chautauqua Comics has it all.
If you have any questions, stop in today or give us a call. Chautauqua Comics, Al speaking.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
We are just a few days away from 2022, and PA lawmakers are looking forward to the new year. Brendan Scanlon spoke with Warren County Representative Kathy Rapp, who's reflecting on this past year in Harrisburg and sharing her goals for 2022.
Warren County State Representative Kathy Rapp has served in the Pennsylvania legislature since being elected in 2004. I had the opportunity to speak with Representative Rapp, who also serves as chair of the House Health Committee. One of her proudest accomplishments from 2021 was the Essential Caregiver Bill.
That bill passed the House and the Senate, and the governor signed that bill, and I'm very, very proud of having been the prime sponsor of that bill.
House Bill 649, now Act 67, allows for a designated family member to serve as an essential caregiver during a pandemic.
Which means that person would be allowed to visit their loved one in a nursing home or another setting during a pandemic or lockdown, so that that person has the emotional care.
Something Rapp hopes to advance in 2022 is her Lyme disease bill.
And I believe this bill could help alleviate their suffering.
This is the second session Rapp has sponsored the bill that would give doctors more flexibility when prescribing long-term antibiotics for patients suffering from Lyme.
It is currently in the Senate. I am hoping that this year, this session, the Senate acts on that bill and moves it to the floor of the Senate. It's a very important bill.
Pennsylvania legislative sessions are 2 years long, so the current session will conclude at the end of 2022. In Harrisburg, Brendan Scanlon reporting.
A New York jury found Ghislaine Maxwell guilty Wednesday on 5 of 6 counts related to her role in sex trafficking minors for Jeffrey Epstein. Prosecutors argued Maxwell and Epstein conspired to set up a scheme to lure young girls into sexual relationships with him from 1994 to 2004. 4 women testified during the trial that Epstein abused them and that Maxwell facilitated the abuse and sometimes participated in it. Meanwhile, Maxwell's defense said she was a scapegoat for Epstein's actions. The U.S. attorney on the case praised the victims who came forward and attributed the guilty verdict to their bravery. Maxwell faces up to 65 years in prison. Her defense team is already working on appeal, and her family issued a statement echoing that, saying they believe she's innocent. Epstein pled guilty in 2008 to state prostitution charges. He was indicted on federal sex trafficking charges in July 2019, but died by suicide in prison a month later. Well, New Year's Eve, it's a night when many people are known to stock up on their favorite booze and celebrate. And if you plan to take part in the night, WNY News Now's Elena Jonathan is looking at how shipping issues are impacting liquor stores and sales in our region.
Supply chain issues have impacted almost every aspect of our lives, and this week those disruptions might impact you at the liquor store.
There have been production issues, there have been some transportation issues. Basically, what you see happening in the supply chain and other industries also affects the liquor industry.
This has caused the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board to put a limit on how many bottles you can buy of your favorite spirit.
For instance, some French champagnes are low because of production issues over in France.
Many different champagnes are limited to only 2 bottles per visit at the liquor store. Other spirits like some Jack Daniels, Hennessy, and Don Julio are on that 2-bottle only list. That's why spokesperson Sean Kelly is telling customers start shopping for those liquors earlier rather than later on New Year's Eve.
If the product is on the list, we ask the customers buy up to 2 bottles of that product each day. You could go into a store, if it's in stock, you could buy up to 2 bottles, come back the next day, buy another 2, come back the next day, buy another 2, as long as the supply holds out.
Elena Jonathan, WNY News Now.
We have a complete list of all the drinks limited to 2 bottles now at WNYNewsNow.com. Well, in an effort to help our furry friends find a forever home, we're partnered with the Chautauqua County Humane Society in our segment called The Pet of the Week. Rachel joining us now to talk more about this week's featured furry friend who's looking for a great home this New Year's.
Hi there, this is Rachel from the Chautauqua County Humane Society. We've got Bootsy here, who is a senior kitty. She's a little shy at first, but she will warm up to you. She's a sweetheart, and she's a little bit of an older gal. We've been looking for her forever home. So if you're interested in Bootsy, you can fill out an application on our website, chqhumane.org. Thank you.
She looks so friendly, and it looks like she's enjoying her activity there. It's important.
A little
Dakota.
scratch pad.
Yeah, it's important to have those. People get mad when their cats go after their furniture, but you gotta have the scratch pad. So to learn more about Bootsy or any other residents of the shelter, give the Humane Society a ring at 716-665-2209 or easier at chqhumane.org. They even have testimonials there, so to speak, from the animals themselves. Pretty creative.
Well, I mean, the scratching thing, that's a cat's nature because, because out in the wild, their wild counterparts will scratch on things to sharpen their claws.
Right.
So, that's why if you have a cat, you definitely need to have like a scratching post or something that way then that way they can scratch their claws on, and that way they're not ruining your furniture.
I've never been a big fan, too, of a lot of people they'll get their cats declawed, and it's like, that's their defense, right? Dogs can bite, and that's a way they communicate. Same with the scratches, so it's important to make sure you keep their claws on. Well, we thank you all for joining us for WNY News Now, and this is our last traditional broadcast of 2021, so we are excited about that. Tomorrow I'll be hosting a year in review show, which we're going to talk about coming up in the next 5 minutes. But first, we kind of get a year in review for the weather, right? Is that?
Well, actually, we're not going to do a year in review about the weather today. We'll probably throw it out on social media over the weekend because we have to go through a ton
That's a lot of
data.
I would imagine.
Yeah, because we have to go through a ton of data. But the weather team will be working on that over the weekend. But in the short term, this is what's coming up, the weather headlines. We have a couple more showers and sprinkles to go through. And again, the same thing we told you earlier. If you do get a shower, it's mainly going to be a sprinkle today. Temps are on the move. Up, 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 can only go up from here, Shania Twain. Mild and wet start to the new year, and lake effect snow returns by the time we go into early next week. And hey, something good if you want to get out before the new year is the ski resorts Peak and Peak, Holiday Valley, and Hollymont are all open right now with the bases not looking too bad. But again, this is mostly man-made snow here, and we'll try to get some snow in there. Obviously, the best chance of snow really is going to be after the new year. Just lots of clouds around downtown Jamestown from the HD News Now cam. 36 right now. It's cloudy with fog being reported. That's what that little icon means. It means fog at the Jamestown Airport. East wind to 5. You can see why there's fog. Look at the dew point at 36 right at the air temperature. So we're going to get some fog there, and also the visibility down to 4 miles. So that's another sign that we have some fog out there. So just take it kind of slow out there. There's going to be some patchy fog through at least the early part of the afternoon. But take a look at the temperatures here. 40 today should be our high. 46 tomorrow. How about 51? For the first day of 2022, and then whoop, right down the hill we go. We'll struggle to stay in the lower 20s on Monday next week. And if you are venturing out to Buffalo on Friday night for the ball drop from atop Electric Tower, and again, we are still hopeful that the rain will hold off until after midnight. 41 with overall light wind down there in downtown Buffalo. So again, there should be no weather hassles for the ball drop in Buffalo this year. But you can see what's going on here. We still have this stubborn front that's basically across the region, and this front has been twofold. It's been keeping the clouds in place, but it's also got enough moisture attached to it that'll bring in a few of those little light showers or sprinkles and more active weather down across the deep south. Lots of flash flood warnings across the Georgia and Alabama there, with some severe thunderstorm warnings there as well. So let's take you through future scan here. Really nothing through the day, minus a couple of those little sprinkles. And tonight should be a mainly dry night as well. But watch as we go into tomorrow. We'll see a couple more of those scattered showers. And this is right, and the loop stops just before the ball drop. And again, you can see here, we should be mainly dry here for the ball drop in Buffalo. So the zone forecast, the inland areas, we're likely going to be in the upper 30s today with lots of clouds. Next 7 coming up right now, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. You can see 51. And then by the time we go into early next week, we'll stay dry. We'll take a break. Right back.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
What could you lose in a home fire? Your possessions? Your home? Your memories? Don't let your world go up in smoke. Make sure you have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones, because fire is everyone's fight.
This message was brought to you by the Jamestown Fire Department and the Chautauqua Safety Village.
Happy Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Happy New Year.
I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Jesus was the greatest gift that God could have sent us.
I send you much love.
Happy holidays from WNY News Now.
As the year comes to an end, we're taking a look back at the moments that defined 2021 in our neck of the woods. Reporter Julia Gress explains.
In January, the first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine were administered, changing the landscape of the global pandemic. By March, mass vaccination sites in Jamestown allowed for hundreds of people to get the shot.
I have a husband who is a brittle diabetic, so he is very susceptible to things as well. He is also beginning his shot, but not today. His is tomorrow.
Later that month, Jamestown City Councilwoman Victoria James passed away suddenly, leaving behind her long-lasting legacy of dedication.
She just helped so many of the kids that didn't have that help at home, or if they weren't even comfortable with going home, they always knew that my mom would be there for them and not judge.
In June, the Tarps Guns retook the field, where Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell threw the first pitch.
I've been sitting around too long and it's just too much cabin fever. I'm ready for some live sports of some sort.
In attendance was Russell E. Dietrich Jr., who the park is named after. June also hosted Jamestown's first ever Pride Parade, where community members came together to celebrate being able to accept yourself for who you are. Mayor Eddie Sundquist was amongst those vying for change, while longtime advocate Helen Walters spoke about the importance of the event.
Pride is our defense. The first thing that the people who want to put us back into the closet do is try to shame us. I am proud of who I am. I am proud of who I present myself to be.
As the summer continued into July, a Jamestown police officer went viral after body cam footage showed him heroically saving a family from a house fire. Officer Mark Conklin described the event, saying he was in the right place at the right time.
Initially, I really didn't even feel the heat because adrenaline is just so high. I knew they couldn't stay up there for long, so they had to get off somehow.
In August, then Governor Andrew Cuomo resigned amid sexual harassment allegations, as well as his mishandling of nursing home deaths during the pandemic. New York State Assemblyman Andy Goodell said this decision was the right thing to do to best serve those statewide.
No one wants to go down in history as being only the second governor in the entire history of the state of New York to be impeached. And it was pretty clear that the Assembly Judiciary Committee was moving forward.
Republican victories were the story of election night in the area, especially as Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell was reelected. And in the Jamestown City Council, all 3 at-large races went to the GOP, and 4 of 6 ward seats also went red. The Jamestown Red Raiders took the field at Highmark Stadium in November to claim the Section 6 Class A championship against Frontier. Head coach Langworthy credited the community's love of football and long-standing tradition it has become to the team's success. He says that the team knowing that the community cares drives them even harder.
And at the end of the day, you're trying to teach young people life lessons through athletics, but you're also trying to teach them that winning's important and achievement's important, success is important, but it's hard. It's hard to reach your goals.
With the year that was, I'm Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Julia, thank you. And tomorrow we're taking a full look back at all the major stories of 2021 as part of our Year in Review show, which airs at noon right here on WNY News Now and, of course, Channel 716. Certainly let us know what you think about that here in the comments of this video and on social media. And I think there was so much in the last year. The 3 minutes really don't do it justice. I don't even know if a half-an-hour program is going to do it because there was a lot of people. We were talking about this yesterday. I think COVID kind of shined such a big cloud, but there was a lot of other big stories that happened here locally, good and bad.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good things that happened this year in light of COVID, and seeing the tarp skunks back, right? I think is probably one of the best things that might have happened because not only is it a signal of, hey, we're moving in the right direction with COVID, but it was a signal of we finally have baseball back here in the city after the Jammers left.
Right.
So,
and that was a big one for a lot of people. They were upset, rightfully so, that they're gone. So it's good to have that back, and we'll see them in 2022. That's it for us today. We hope you all have a happy New Year. We'll see you back here next Monday and, of course, tomorrow for our New Year special. Have a great day.